episode of Pleasure Explosion, episode 69.
Nice.
Your place or mine?
Nice. What did you just... Oh. I don't... Do you actually want to call it that?
Your place or mine?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Fair enough.
Save time on coming up with a title.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe. Joining me for the final episode, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, I'm also on this one. How
Nicholas
fortunate.
Pryor,
I'm not actually here. I'm just a figment of your imagination.
That explains a lot.
and I'm Dylan Blight, a figment of his imagination.
Dylan's a host.
Ooh, shout out to Bevan World. Twitch.tv/Explosion Network.
Ashley doesn't like good TV because he doesn't watch it.
Yeah, you know what do you want to watch would be a lot better podcast if you watch the stuff me and Nick watched. Ash, just say.
No, it would be a better podcast if he watched anything, period.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if you watched
What did you watch this? What did you watch this fortnight, Ashley? Oh, I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Flash, Arrow.
Yeah,
That's about
lots of
it.
stuff. I didn't watch just The Office on again.
I just finished the third season.
To be fair,
of
I'm
this.
not watching it again. This is the first time I watched it.
Well, yeah,
the American Office that has like 10 seasons.
yeah,
9.
like 300 episodes.
And they've been
200
pretty
probably.
good so far.
You're not going to finish that. There's no fucking way you
Yes, I
watch
am.
all that. You think you will?
Eventually,
I'm more than halfway through.
Oh, that's insane. What are you watching it with Stacey?
No, I'm watching it by myself.
What
That's
the fuck?
That's why I'm powering through it so much.
Well, when are you watching it? When you're painting or something?
No, just whenever. Like it's only like 20 odd minutes an episode, so quick to punch one out.
Yeah.
Watch one while taking
Yeah. That depends on So yeah, in case you haven't heard, and you're tuning in for the first time in 20 episodes, because this one is titled the final one or something like that. Yeah, this is the final episode of Pleasure Explosion. We've decided to... What have we decided to do?
retire.
Thank you. We've decided to retire, quote unquote.
We
Pleasure
gave you an
Explosion.
emergency package.
Retire, not retwire.
Well, look, you don't tell me how to speak. Look,
Call
I'm
back.
pouring out one for the homie. Like you shut your whole mouth. Why aren't you pouring one out for the homie? What do you got there,
Yeah.
Nick? A hardcore Pepsi Max?
Yeah.
You fucking Lejo. What have you got, Ash?
I got
Lejo.
What do you got there, Ash? Diet Coke?
Coke from Macca's.
The last 2 podcasts, I swear I recorded you, not counting all the E3 stuff, you were sitting there sipping fucking ciders or something.
Yeah.
You couldn't put that effort in today?
No, I'm got like straight back from work, sat in front of the computer, and then hit record. Pretty much.
Did you walk past the fridge?
No, I
to
did
get
not.
there? Oh, bullshit. Ashley.
Straight out of the car into the
Into
cauldron.
your little laundry where
Little
you're
my box,
segregated
yeah.
to from the family.
My little Harry Potter hideaway corner.
yeah.
Before we get... all right,
Ashley's in a household apartheid.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You fucking prawn.
Let's never get to the point. We'll talk about retiring the show in a minute. Let's kind of decide tangent. So E3 was last week.
Yeah.
All right. We recorded the last episode on the Sunday as E3 was kicking off. This is all after E3. What did the people in your household say, Ash, as you slowly crept off to your little crab corner hole at all times of the night?
Nothing. They were all asleep, like normal
But
people.
no one was ever like, why was you up at 3 a.m.?
No, I told them we had these
lives
press
in the laundry.
conferences that were overseas that we needed to record stuff for.
And that was enough? They're just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, what time? 2 o'clock in the morning? What? Why that time? Like, because that's when it is. Square Enix. Piece of shit.
I feel like that's a lot less...
Oh, no,
I've got
Nintendo
other
was the
questions.
earliest one, wasn't it? Yeah. It's all a blur.
Nintendo was... Yeah, it's all a blur.
PC was the earliest one I watched.
Yeah, what was that? Fucking 5 p.m. in the afternoon?
8 a.m. or something, or 7 a.m.
Jesus.
To be
That's
fair, they're
hardcore.
all late for Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Except I was dying that weekend, so
You wouldn't have watched them anyway.
I would have.
Even if you weren't sick, you would have watched them.
No, I would have been at work.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, did you go straight back to work after it all, Ash? Like the next day?
I went to on Wednesday. I did.
Yeah. So yeah, you didn't have like a breather day.
Nope. Started work at
Yeah.
7:00. It's great.
Yeah. Because I had I took one. No, I didn't take a day off. I moved one day, right? So I moved when I was supposed to work on the Wednesday to, yeah, I can't remember the end of that week or like a day the week before. So it worked out like a lot easier. So I could have that Wednesday just to do the Nintendo in the morning and then relax, or quote unquote relax for the rest of the day. So that worked out quite nice. But it's just it's an intense week. So I ended up having 6 days off work. That's how it worked out. Like not off, but
I
like
had 8 days off.
between my shifts, I had 6 days off. I get back to work and someone's like, "Did you enjoy your 6 days off?" And I'm like, "It honestly feels like I just left here."
Yeah.
Like, it was like, just because you're so busy the entire time through fucking E3, up at all times of the night. Don't know what's going on.
Isn't it weird how when you go on holidays, whether it be school or work, or take time off, and then you go back and it just feels like nothing happened at all?
Yeah.
But it never feels like that for when you have time off.
So when I got back from Brisbane, you know, it's like get back. How was it? You know, this has been happening. I'm like, I honestly feel like I've left like a day ago. Like it never feels like it's that long. But when you're at work and like say someone else goes on holidays,
Yeah.
like your boss or your 2IC or anyone else, like they'll seem to be gone for like a year. And then
Yeah.
they come back and it's like, how was it? Like you was gone for ages. You were gone for like 2 weeks. And they'll give the response that you always give. It's just like, it would literally seem like a day for me. Like, which I suppose is when you're having fun, time goes fast, you know, Nick.
What's
Much
a
like
fun time?
Much like with this podcast, how 69 episodes flew past.
Nice.
Thanks.
Well, fun fact.
okay.
It's not exactly 69, is it? Because
We've
double
discussed
counted.
this.
We double counted one of the episodes or something. Or we skipped counted.
Look,
What?
there was a bonus episode.
That's for you viewers to find out.
70.
No, not the boat. No, I distinctly
The
remember.
live episode was posted after the.
No, but I distinctly remember that like there's 2 episode like 48s or something like that.
This is bullshit. I'm looking on my phone right now. We're literally going to go record the podcast and then we're going to discover that it was all a lie.
Yeah.
Let's go through. Let's at episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The Bandicoot is. No, I'm in Platinum Explosion. Fuck. I was like, none of these episode titles
Those are
seem
weird.
right at all. Oh, there is a problem.
Yeah.
Well, guess.
Can you
But
hear
how
the
about
echo
on
now?
YouTube? How about on YouTube? Is it the same?
I don't know. I haven't looked on YouTube.
Look, if we're just going to delete that episode,
No.
okay, and then we'll move on we'll move on throughout the rest of our lives. It's all right. Let's get to the point. There's we're ending. Sorry, Ash. Sorry, retiring.
Retiring.
We're putting old Yeller down.
We're
Going
retiring.
out the back, putting a 22 to the back of its head and blowing his brains out.
Fucking hell. It's a bit intense, isn't
It's gotten lame.
it? Jesus.
Not in the urban use of lame, the literal use of lame.
My goodness. All right, so we're ending this show. Now, we haven't said in any previous fucking hell, previous episodes of exactly why we're ending this show. So I suppose we should cover the thought process of all that. So I'll try jump in if anything I say sounds incorrect.
That would involve listening.
Well, if you don't listen to me, how are people on the fucking earphones and their cars and their granny vans supposed to pay attention? Set a precedent, Nick. Jesus Christ. We started Pleasure Explosion. This was the first. In case you
Good start. Good start.
In case you started listening to Explosion Network, not from the start, right? Pleasure Explosion was the original podcast of the Explosion Network, which at the time wasn't known as the Explosion Network, but was just known as Pleasure Explosion. Pleasure Explosion.
It was this crazy time when we only did one podcast a week.
It's true. It was a weird, crazy time. So Pleasure Explosion, the company that would become Explosion Network, the original podcast. There was 6 of us: Ash, Nick, myself, Thomas Marshall, John O'Peck, Jack Cruz.
True. It's doing good.
The 6 cast members of Pleasure Explosion. Thank you, Ash.
Yeah.
If you're listening to the episode, you may have noticed the mathematical equation puts us at 50% of that currently.
That's true. That is also true. Your maths is solid.
I just want to make sure I'm getting all the facts right.
Are we counting all the guests that we've had too?
No, I'm just talking main cast members of the show.
Yeah.
Like the main cast of this show was the 6.
The original cast.
The original 6 people, right? There's only 3 of us left.
The sensational 6, some would say.
There's only 3 of us left on this show at the moment, and there's only 3 of those original 6 people. And we're not talking about Kieran because we're talking main members of the Pleasure Explosion podcast, not the Explosion Network brand thing. Tangent. So there's 6 people in Pleasure Explosion. There's only 3 left in the Explosion Network now, the 3 of us.
Yep.
Jack left. Jono left in... When did they officially leave?
I want to say February.
They left February.
The year 2 stream was the announcement.
Yeah, so
or just before
that week,
early first week of March. But I mean, they put out the announcement at some point during February. We knew for a little while before then. So the timeline gets muddled. Tom left.
If you haven't heard,
I would more call it a soft leave.
Tom's kind of stepping back, focusing on other interests.
He's gone to casual.
Suits. Yeah.
He's gone to casual. Yeah, well, the main point is he left Explosion Network.
In a full-time
Jono,
capacity, yep.
Jack, Tom left Explosion Network. So then there's half the cast of this show has left, or regular cast. Tom said, he'd be happy to be on every now and then. But the point is the main cast is subtracted down to just the 3 of us of the main cast. So as far as I was concerned, when Tom...
It just isn't pleasurable anymore. So
it just
we just have to call it Explosion. It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
When Tom sent through him...
what's the opposite of pleasure?
Pain.
Painful explosion?
I believe there's a song by the Divinals about it.
It's what happens
fine line between pleasure and pain.
Too much Indian food. Have a painful explosion. Am I right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about explosive diarrhea?
Take the P. Take the P off that.
Thank you. So when Tom sent through a message on our Slack saying he was going to step down at Explosion Network stuff,
we said, "What are you doing up there, Tom? You should have stepped down ages ago."
There's too many.
He wasn't on the ladder.
You're Molly Meldrum.
I even think New Zealand's technically more south than us, so
it all depends on your perspective.
My first reaction when he sent through the message was, "Well, we should probably just
retire
Explosion at this point." So, I'm talking from my perspective, Ash, not what we've officially chosen.
No, I'm choosing to edit everybody.
You can't edit my initial reactions to things.
Sure,
Actually,
we literally do a show about reacts.
You're censoring free speech.
Yeah, thank you.
We're in Australia.
You're the left. You're the left now, censoring free speech. Ashley,
fucking hell. So yeah, my initial reaction was we should retire the show. We spoke about it. Obviously, we came to an agreement about it,
and we all agreed to do the show live.
I think, without speaking for Nick, he was pretty much on board from the get go. Like that makes sense to get rid of pleasure, I guess.
Don't want to refute that or agree.
I didn't realize a response to this.
See, he wasn't listening.
let us
See,
just-
this is
let
why
us
we
just-
need to stop the show, because we don't have enough cast members who listen to everybody else. For 68 episodes, Nick has just been coasting.
Pause. I don't want to speak for you, Nick. But when Tom said that he was stepping down from Explosion Network, felt we should retire the show, yes?
You know the thing? Because some podcast apps let you skip any silence, it's just going to be you laughing right
Yeah,
after that.
Pocket Casts. Go use them. They're fantastic. Except there's a stat for it to skip intros, but I've not found any way to skip intros.
I have to look through the frequently asked questions or something.
Ash,
manual.
what was your how did you feel? Did you feel the same way straight away, or a bit more reluctant?
Yeah, I guess it made sense, especially with this milestone number that we agreed to finish on.
69.
Yeah, and I mean we're pumping out a lot of stuff, so one more, less thing on the off the plate I think is helping certain members of the Explosion Network at the moment. So
Yeah. It felt like a chore to do it, to be honest.
He says something when I
Whoa.
don't ask, and then he chucks out his real responses, just left field. But when you actually ask for them, you don't get them at all.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this
well, it's
show,
like the animals; they won't pose for pictures when you want them to.
I wanted to give a little bit of behind the scenes action behind the curtain on the last fucking one, because I was like, oh fuck it, why not? But on that, like, it felt like a bit of a chore. This is a show that we've struggled with identity wise since
Was it PAX?
September, October. Yeah, PAX, a little bit before PAX, I guess.
Because all
Stuff
of
like
you
that.
fuckers were whinging about it.
I mean, I feel like we reached a certain stage. So we reached a certain stage where we was doing more shows, right? And then everyone, there was like a run where when we initially started this, and then was doing Plat, and then if someone wasn't on this show, at the end of the week, they'd feel like they missed out on something, you know? Like, I feel like we all felt like that at the start. You know,
Yep.
if you wasn't on Pleasure, you felt like you missed out on something that week. You just feel like you missed out on something cool.
There was a
fun to
hole in
do.
our hearts.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it was all that at the start, and then we started doing more shows, blah 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 blah. Obviously around October or whatever it was, what would we have had happening then? So Jack was doing Grandstand by himself, so he had his own show. I was doing Platinum, I had my own show going on. Was doing Pleasure, and then was doing a mix between other shows, like we'd start South of King's Landing
American
and
Gods
Viewing
and all that
Gods
kind
and
of
stuff.
crap.
Was doing it on and off. So then we had those other shows
A lot of
mixed
Twitch
in
stuff.
there. Was starting to do more Twitch stuff. So at a certain point, it's like everyone slowly, without saying anything, didn't feel like they had to be on Pleasure all the time, because you're like, I don't need to be on that thing. I did Platinum this week, or I did Grandstand this week, or I did a Twitch stream, a couple Twitch, like people were like, I've been doing other things, or I played Friday the 13th for 4 fucking hours the other night. Like, I don't need to do Pleasure Explosion tonight. It's fine. That's my time off, which makes sense. And then October, we went to PAX. We started talking to a lot of people about the show, or all of our shows really. And we got feedback from a lot of people saying that having 6 people on it was too much. Like, they struggled to keep up with us all, comprehend, too many voices, that type of thing. So we brought that back, and we talked about the idea of having less people on it, which at the time we was just kind of doing anyway. Like, it was just happening, you know.
Yeah.
People were happy to just sit one out this week, next week, etc., etc., etc. So that happened, and it lasted like that through to
Now?
January or whenever it was that we started talking about year 2 plans, and then was officially like, well, put Tom in charge of it. Max to 4 people. That means only one person has to, sit out or whatever per week, really, counting Kieran. And then we'll just go through that. And we changed it to be, the idea was have it a bit more of a free-flowing conversation show than being a topic, like having the entire show based on one topic.
Yep.
Like, you could still bring a topic if you wanted to.
But expect tangents.
but expect tangents or just a bit more of the what's the start? What is the official name for the start? Like where we're just like, don't even intro the show, just clap and then just cut the show in at some interesting point.
I have no
Like
idea. I don't know what the technical term is.
False, yeah, but there is a term. I feel.
Good thing I didn't edit because nothing any of you say is interesting.
Fucking hell.
Jeez.
You really just don't want to leave the last episode on a happy note. You're just gonna.
I'm retiring.
You're retiring as well.
I'm retiring from Pleasure Explosion.
Oh god. So and then it reached a point. And then so that the show just went through many weird changes. Obviously, I wasn't actually, for no particular reason. Like if anyone looks back through it, in Tom's tenure of running the show as host, I never managed to be on a single episode while he was the host.
That's because all right, big plot twist, everyone. Tom and Dill are the same person.
Both
For
foreign.
60 something weeks, he was doing a New Zealand accent and his own voice in the same
Go watch
episodes.
the extra
It just
live
got
stream.
too much.
Never seen us in the same room at the same time.
Really? You sure?
Mate, I mean, you probably do, but
I don't know.
it was worth a joke.
Yet mannequins are very realistic nowadays.
Sex dolls, I believe they're called.
Oh,
Those two.
if you want to take it that direction. So I never managed to get on any of Tom's tenure simply because my work was a bit hectic at the time. And then so I feel like when Tom decided to step down, it just felt like the move that made the most sense. So there's not any big particular reason. That's pretty much the whole story. But the thing that we have been talking about, and we don't have any locked in details, but we will say we do want to come back with what would you describe this show as?
Another one.
Variety.
No, a variety show. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Nick's first actual legit
Constructive, useful piece of information.
information. He said this whole
24
show.
minutes into this recording, and it's finally happened.
I feel like Tom hasn't. I feel like I'm recording an old episode of fucking Platinum Explosion, and although Tom's not here, I feel him because I'm having a look over at Nick constantly and see him playing his fucking Switch.
I'm not playing with Switch. Switch is over here.
Oh, what?
Why did you just
no,
put it
you
down?
fucking lied. You lied. You just put it down. You fucker.
It's
Like early Platinum Explosion episodes. What are you doing over there, Tom?
I'm
Nothing.
researching.
Popping trophies.
definitely not playing Dynasty Warriors.
Definitely not playing Dynasty Warriors.
Or Reverie.
No, I mean Reverie wasn't out a year ago,
Which is
That
a shame.
story. Golf story.
which is a shame.
But it
Let's
is
say-
out now.
at the
Check it out on everywhere. PlayStation.
PlayStation, correct. It is out on PlayStations. So in the future we'll have a variety show of some sort.
Look for the Platinum Explosion app on your PlayStation store.
Fuck. Imagine, please.
No, it's there. Go look for it. If you can't find it, you're not looking hard enough.
Someone spends a good hour of their life fucking scouring the PlayStation store, typing in different things.
No, nobody's looking for that.
Oh, I would.
It's on there, Dylan. Go look for it.
Oh. So we're gonna go away for a while with this type of program, and the idea is to come back with something. It's not Pleasure Explosion 2.0. It's
It's Pleasure Explosion 0.5. DJ the show.
it's not going to be anything like this show. Like we've had one discussion about it in our last meeting, and it was only like a 15-minute discussion. We threw around some ideas. We haven't officially locked in anything, so we're months off anything coming to fruition. But it'll be a variety / general chit chat / nonsense show.
You know that stuff that Banter Labs does? Yeah, they stole the idea off
they
us.
used
Yeah.
to do before they decided to
Yeah.
end their podcast the same week we announced we was ending ours. Fucking sons of bitches, Sam, you fucker. You rip off. Just constantly rip me off. It's rude. Just rip me off all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outrage. Absolutely disgusting, you casuals.
See, they started a sports podcast.
Yeah.
We did that first.
We did that first. We was the only one ever to do a sports podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking rip-offs. So look for whatever the follow-up sequel show. No, spiritual successor is the correct term, I feel, for whatever the next the follow-up to
Sure.
Pleasure will be. Because it's not like a sequel. It won't be anything like Pleasure, but it is the spiritual successor in that it's to fill the vein of this show moving forward. All right. Ash,
Dylan.
what is your fondest memories, moments, or anything over the period of the 71 episodes? To this one.
I think the live show at PAX springs to mind. That was a lot of fun. It sort of capped off that awesome weekends because we recorded it at like the Audio Techno booth at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the Sunday. We'd made awesome content. You, me, and Jono and Kieran hanging out in person for the first time in like 6 months or something, 7 months. Yeah, it was great. Even though we were recovering all day that day from the events of the night before or the morning before.
You and Kieran just don't know how to pace yourselves. Day one of PAX, user at lunch, rosy cheeked.
That's true.
Calm down, guys. It's a 3-day event.
That's true. But
Pace yourself. But you get props, Ash, because you were
Yeah,
with me
I
late.
stayed up,
Kieran fucking bails, goes home at 11 p.m. or whatever fucking time.
rookie.
Loser. Rookie's 100% right. I don't know how he's been going out so much these days.
No,
in
he's
his
still
life.
going to bed at 11 o'clock. Yeah, for an
He just
hour.
goes out
He's
at
getting
like 6.
tail.
He's getting. Well, yeah, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that is the reason.
The great motivator.
Pussy. Yeah. Did you have any others off top of your anything that springs to your head, Ash?
Obviously, me screwing up my age in like the first couple of episodes. That was a good
I
running
believe
gag.
it was I think it was literally the first episode.
Yeah, first episode.
Wasn't it like, let's cover everyone, like how old are you,
Yeah.
what's your name, etc., etc., etc. Hi, I'm Ashley Hobley. I'm
29 when I was
20.
28.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then I corrected myself the next episode. Yeah. Another favorite was the episode where I talked with Nick, Tom, and Jack and John about their relationships. I thought that was really good. Thought it was a really good episode.
Did you take anything away from it?
No. Just get lucky, I guess.
Yeah,
No shit.
that's what happened with me, really.
Yeah.
No shit. I listened to that episode, and by the end of it, I was like, I don't know what Ash has got from anything anyone's ever said in this apart from, I got lucky, I got lucky, I got lucky.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone's story was, oh, I bumped into my now partner or wife at a happenstance scenario, etc., etc., etc. So it's like, in the episode
That's
starts with
not
Ash
true.
being like,
Jack was working with Sally at the restaurant. Jono
oh yeah,
went
that's
to church
real
with,
bump in luck when you're working with the
Hannah.
mother.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. The episode starts with you being like, all right, give me some tips, advice, let's see how we go for the single players out there. And by the end of it, it's, look, none of us are particularly happy anymore. We've all got married just about, but get lucky and it'll be okay for a couple years. But the moral of the story is don't get married.
I don't remember it playing exactly like that, but sure. If that was your reading of that episode.
It was a funny episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, by the end of this, what's the moral of the story? Nick, do you have any any memories pop to mind?
The one where Ashley and I went one-on-one.
Yeah. That happened. Riveting content.
Didn't you do 2 like that, or am I just?
Possibly. I don't remember one.
Yeah.
Well,
I think maybe we did a plat
what
together.
stands out from the one you did one-on-one so much?
I don't know, just Ashley asking questions. It just felt very intimate,
Yeah.
We touched each other.
Digitally.
That's nice.
Got hot and steamy, like the car in Titanic. I particularly enjoyed PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, the Audio Technica booth, that was pretty good. They didn't have enough mics, so I wasn't on that episode.
The best.
So I,
They
yeah,
also
stood-
didn't.
I stood to the
It wasn't 'cause you
side.
didn't
also
come
didn't
to
fly you
PAX or
out,
anything
which was
like
a
that.
problem.
What?
They didn't fly you out, which was a problem.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Can you believe the height of them?
Yeah.
They gave the
How
worst
rude.
mini review ever for PAX.
Mini review packs.
All of the episodes I hosted were fantastic content. Especially the top 5 ones. I really enjoyed
I was about
doing
to
them.
say, as I mentioned, you could, some things have spun out from pleasure. So top 5. I was trying to find the first one, which I'm scrolling into.
I think it was
to,
top
like,
5 albums. Yeah.
So episode 26, you hosted an episode, and you're like you gave us, I don't know. I feel like it was a month.
It was like a month or so.
It was like a month's head out. Well, it was enough time because it was probably after you hosted your last episode.
Yeah.
Of course, like we rotated around hosting positions, so it was probably like 5 weeks notice. Hey, when we get around to my next episode, top 5 albums, and everyone went away, did the top 5 albums, and then that episode was literally just an episode of what is now known as top 5 with Nick, basically.
I might repurpose those episodes for top 5.
I feel like you should just redo them.
No, I'll just repost them under top 5.
Yeah.
I've already done
With
the
special
work.
guests.
I feel
Just
like you
edit
get
out the
more
pleasure explosion. When you say pleasure explosion at the start of the episode, just say top 5 with Dick. Like, and use that same audio cue the whole way through the episode whenever it's brought up.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll work.
It sounds
feel
like,
like
No one will notice.
Do you feel like you're going to do a music episode?
I'm probably
Well,
doing music season.
Yeah. But what would you, if you're not going to do top 5 albums, what would you do?
Top 5 albums that weren't on your top 5 albums.
Like, I know there's like
Top
heaps of
5
subjects,
songs from
obviously,
the Fast and Furious franchise.
but I can tell you right now.
I feel like
I
that
don't
would be
know.
a very
I'd have to think
boring
about
show.
it.
No offense.
I'll save that for something.
Yeah, I agree. Not top 5. Fast and Furious is very boring.
Fuck you.
This episode is a standout.
Is it?
Yeah.
You feel like this one?
Everybody loves finales.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like this is one of the worst finales.
We should
after
end it like The
Sopranos.
Sopranos and just cut it to
I feel like
silence.
that's what I feel like that's a good idea. Let's
Yeah,
keep
we'll
that
just
in mind.
keep
Or
talking and
let's
then
all
just
get
cut
arrested
halfway
like the
through
end
a
of
sentence.
like the end of Seinfeld.
Let's feel like that as we go. So my episodes that stand out to me when I pose the question to me very fast.
The egg.
Yes. How to Great Rate. That was one of my favorite episodes I've hosted. Solely because it was like because I listened to Logic's album, and then I got obsessed with the album, and I got obsessed with the short story, and I just got obsessed with the whole concept of like what the album and the short story do. And I just remember getting that was one of the episodes I was getting so excited looking forward to doing, solely because I knew it was going to be different. Like in my head, I'm like, I'll record this thing, at the start. Like it was just exciting to do a little bit of something different. So that was episode 16, if anyone's wondering, where I basically, the topic for the show was Andy Weir's The Egg, which is a short film that Logic also based
Short
his
story.
What'd you call it?
You said short film.
Oh, sorry. It's short story, sorry. But I believe people have turned it to short films on YouTube.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, probably.
YouTube is not legitimate content.
Well, I mean, this episode's going to be on YouTube, so let's not just illegitimize them.
Twitch is where it's at, bro.
Well, yeah. Kind of. So the PAX episode also stands out to me just because that was obvious. But I don't know if it feel like it was the content more so just the
Experience.
like the experience. Like we were standing around in the middle of a comm booth with really good gear,
yeah.
recording a podcast. And it felt kind of
People were looking at us. It was weird.
Yeah, people looking at us, but it was a
Like they were checking out the microphone, not at us, but they were looking at the microphones that we're using.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I'm trying to find the episode fucking number here. Episode 19, the sorting hat.
Yeah. that
Because
was
I
pretty fun.
remember that was a lot of fun. And obviously we talked about Harry Potter, and we did the
Ashley's a
Slytherin.
Slytherin.
He is. Well, he slivers in wherever he wants to be. We did the quiz on the Harry Potter.
No, we just
website, the
decided for each
Pottermore.
other.
Didn't we look through the Pottermore thing?
Yeah, we did. My Patronus was something that I forget.
Yeah, but we didn't
Yeah.
do the actual quiz. We just
Yeah, I believe we did.
no, we didn't.
We looked at the website.
Listen back and come
We looked at the website.
tweet at
For-
Explosion
All right.
Pod.
Cut the episode in now.
I don't know if I've bothered. But yeah, that was fun. I suddenly just remember, like, I remember Tom posting the screenshots he took of my face spinning it at Jack fucking saying absolute nonsense on that episode and posting them on the Kind of Funny group. So that was fun to I like Harry Potter. So that was a good one.
Shocking.
What do you mean shocking?
I mean, I was being sarcastic.
Oh,
Shocking.
shocking.
Yep.
All right, so let's do pretty much.
Did I
what-
shout out another couple episodes? I want to Nick's episode about happiest movie moments. That was pretty good.
I was about to
Oh,
say,
yeah,
I'm
that-
gonna
yeah.
run. I'm gonna
I
run
forgot
through
about
them
that one.
all
Okay.
now if you want.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I'm gonna.
Ashley, recite your speech from Extra Life.
Find it on youtube.com/Explosion Network.
I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do
Cut
exactly
it
what Ash
in
did.
now.
No, I'm not gonna do exactly what
It's a
Ash
thing.
did at Extra Life. But I figured since this is the final one, we might as well just
Are you going to run through the episode numbers and titles?
and like the brief description.
Are you going to count the double?
No, we're just gonna forget about one of those. One of those will disappear to the ether, the ever, maybe. So episode 1 was called Small Beginnings. I'm sure if you go back and listen to it, it's absolutely fucking
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
atrocious. I would not go back and listen to it. Who had actual mics? Me, Jono.
I didn't.
Yeah, and then everyone else was on.
The whole time I
iPhone.
told everyone to skip episode 1 who was mildly interested.
Yeah, I whenever I suggested the podcast to anyone, I'm like, don't listen to episode 1. But having said that, if I was to if anyone asked me for advice about starting a podcast, that it's just
is
like just
episode
do
1.
it. Like you put out a shit episode, you put out 10 shit episodes, you put out 20 shit episodes,
Put
you
out
know, like,
69 shit episodes.
you put out 61 shit episodes. Let's assume there's
Let's
a couple.
give us a
decent
couple.
ones. Give us a couple in there. But yeah, you just do it. I don't really know what stands out from that first one apart from Ash fucking up his age, which I believe is from that
But we
episode.
talked about our meeting and stuff. I mean,
We talked about how we met
Origin
and stuff, I
story.
guess. Yeah, just picked up this stray dog, Ash.
yeah, pretty
and
much.
stuff. Yeah, we covered how we met at RTX and stuff like that. Episode 2 was called #FuckWoodChippers. I don't remember some of these episodes. I have no idea what we actually talk about. So the description is this time travel. We discuss Nick's love of hot cross buns and what would do if we could jump through time. Dylan says some very controversial things alongside some deeper and more meaningful reasons to time travel, rounded off with our favourite stories revolving around the theme.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Man,
any
we
of
were
that,
so
to be
good
honest.
at descriptions back then.
I don't
Still
know who
are.
wrote them all. Did we take turns writing them back then, or what? I
Feel
don't
like we
remember.
probably did. No.
No,
Then
no,
we just got Jono to do it.
Didn't Nick just write them all for like
yeah,
the
I
first
did.
10, 20 episodes?
I did
Okay, yeah.
for the beginning before we decided to
Make 'em better.
share the workload.
Eventually, it was if it's your episode, you write the description and you come up with the title, etc., etc. But yeah, for a period of time, there was Nick had to come up with the title and description. Or maybe I was coming
Yeah.
up with a title for some because I was rendering them because
Yeah.
I was editing them all.
That's
Maybe
true.
I don't know. Episode 3 was called Sports Ball. This week, sports. The whole crew is back together to discuss their sporting histories and interests. Jack shares a valuable life lesson he has learned this week, and Dylan raises an important question about esports. This is another moment. So episode 3 is basically where Grandstand Guru spiraled out of, I guess. If you
I
want
guess.
Because it
Planted the
worked out
seed.
that we started each show 4 weeks after the other. So we started Pleasure, then
yeah.
episode 4 we started, or the week of episode 4 we started Platinum, and
Platinum,
then 4 weeks
and then
after that was Grandstand.
We started Grandstand. Yeah. It's weird how that worked out. Like, that wasn't even planned. It was just...
It definitely wasn't planned.
No, and it was like that weird moment where you realize that if you ever forgot the episode number of either Grandstand or Plat, but if you knew the episode number of Pleasure, you could work out everything else.
Well,
It's just
up
like,
until we doubled up and fucked up.
no, look, stop mentioning that shit. So yeah, episode 3,
I don't know what you
Grandstand
guys are talking about.
spirals out of. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking. Episode 4 is called Taking a Shit. This week, jobs and aspirations. Is having a job that pays well more important than your own happiness? This week, Dylan opens the show, breaking the secret of where he works wide open, all the while inviting everyone else to do so and most obliged. Jack lays out how his goals in life have recently changed and Mighty Ducks rally up. Quack, quack. Awkward episode to go back and listen to, probably. Let's be honest.
Did you say you were going to try and quit that job?
I mean, I've been trying to quit that job for the 6 fucking years. But I can't
65
remember the full
episodes.
episode.
Still here.
I can't remember the full episode, but everyone basically covers what they're, what they wanted to do in life, like early, what they want to do in life now, etc., like jobs and all that sort of stuff. And I pretty much go over how I hate my job and I want to do whatever you call this stuff. And I've known and tell that whole story. Nick, I believe, was like, I don't really care as long as I can pay my bills and stuff like that to a point. Let's go over this. I don't think we've brought this topic back up. Do you feel like your opinion on that has changed at all? Because in my memory, you were pretty much like, I don't really care as long as I can pay my bills. You had zero aspirations to a point, I feel. Like, do you dislike your job? You'd be like, at the time, you were just like, nah, but it pays. Like, it's like, and it would be like, would you want to do whatever you want to call this, podcasting, meet Twitch, whatever you want to put that umbrella under. Like, I feel like at the time he was like, yeah, I guess. Like, he was like, whatever. Like, it was only 4 episodes in, to be fair, so it wasn't like the full spectrum. How do you feel your views on that have changed after over a year? Yeah. They have to have changed somewhat, because what we've done since then, like, Twitch stuff hadn't started before then, and you enjoyed doing Twitch stuff, right? You don't get to do it as much as... He does enjoy it. You enjoy it, don't you?
Yeah.
You could do it. You wish you could do it more than you...
Yeah, I do.
Like, yeah. So he enjoys Twitch streaming.
Twitch.tv/Explosion Network. Send us some bits.
Yeah. We did all these other shows, like at the moment...
Or subscribe and get access to subscriber-only chat on our Discord.
Yeah, you've got a free Twitch Prime if you're got Amazon Prime.
Give it to us.
Once a month.
Smash that bell.
Jesus Christ.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding.
So Twitch and then like Bevan World and all these other things, having your own show now, top 5, etc., etc., etc. The one thing you haven't had the joy of experiencing, which like myself and Ash have, is like how it's fun to go to a con and pretend to be somebody. And by that I just mean like I quite enjoyed like PAX, even though we didn't have media passes. Running around and making content at that show, I'm like, this is fun. I want to do this more. I wish I had more access to
I
stuff.
thought you did get media passes at PAX.
No.
We got media passes for RTX. We didn't get media passes for PAX. So that's like one thing that out of the question. But with everything else, how do you feel like from episode 4, how would you feel you've changed? Give me a serious answer, Nick.
Please.
Are you implying that I am seldom serious?
For the love of God.
This episode
you're serious.
That could be my superhero name. Seldom serious.
Fucking.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do it full time. It's just whether it happens or not. But I'm quite content just plodding along.
So your answer's about the same.
Exactly, yeah.
Fucking hell. Okay. Ash, how do you feel? How do you reckon your views have changed from the episode? We haven't listened back to it, but like since I've come across it, I'm wondering now. How do you feel your views changed on what you want to do in life, etc.?
Yeah, I think probably on the same trajectory. I think I love doing this. This is great. It'd be awesome if it paid us enough to live off, but realistically, it's not going to happen. But
anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
God believe. But what do you feel like? Episode 4. What do you reckon your like life? Like, what was I haven't listened to the episode, as we've said. Like, what would your goal have been then? Do you reckon? Like, what would you have said? Like, what's your goal in life? What do you want to do? That
just
kind of
keep
thing.
Going. Pretty much.
It would have been like I'm not unhappy where I am, but you know, like
I was
thrilled,
content.
But content. Do you feel like you're like?
I think I'm happier now.
You're happier now because you've got this stuff to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I suppose the difference is going from content to like I'm still content in my job, but being like I've got this other thing that gives me some sort of creative
outlet.
Purpose, I suppose. Whatever, an outlet. Yeah. That's I agree. My views on everything, anything I've said's changed from that episode because I've been making YouTube videos since I was 12, so I've always known like what I'm on.
Where's / Viva La Dill at his blogs?
Yeah.
Put too much work into this fucking shithole.
Man, that
let's
New Year's
cancel
resolution is down the gutter, huh?
This
Yeah, that New Year's
shithole.
Oh.
Now I know where your allegiance
Oh, only you can
lie.
shit talk the fucking place apparently. Fucking
Exactly.
hell. No, yeah, I mean, when I started my tangent to that real quick. So when I started the vlogs,
When was your last blog?
months and months and months ago. When I started the vlogs, it was like I haven't made YouTube videos for like a year or so, and I feel like half of the reason that I became like super depressed in a period like a year of my life there was because I didn't have like any creative outlet anywhere in my life, you know. So like I basically forced myself to start the vlog as a creative outlet, right? So that was the thing. Every day or close to every day, try and do this creative outlet. So I feel like having to put too much time into Explosion Network and not getting to do the vlogs is not the end of the world because I get the same thing, different sort of content, but it's just a thing. All right, episode 5: embarrassing racist weddings. Embarrassing stories, or at least we thought. When have you put your foot in your mouth? This week, a discussion around embarrassing stories devolves into the impact of racism in sport versus booing and when to speak up in a difficult conversation. Plus, Nick tells us why we should never invite him to any of our weddings. Links included in the description are Yelvis the Fox, What Does the Fox Say, and Rammstein Du Hast.
I don't know why those are linked.
Because What Does the Fox Say is related to one of the wedding stories, and
Yeah.
Dylan said something about listening to Du Hast or something.
I don't remember. But there you go. I remember that one just laughing at your story about
Yeah, Nick
falling over or
Nick
whatever.
ruins everybody's weddings. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick hasn't been invited to anyone's weddings that we've known because none of us has got married a year out. But, you know.
Still
I
time.
predict Ashley will get married first.
Ooh. I don't know.
I got money on it. Listen to the Pleasure Explosion episode when he gets married to find the answer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We'll do a one-off
you're
special.
correct.
Yeah. Bringing it out of retirement. When I thought I was out, they dragged me back in.
Oh, God. Episode 6, A Turtle or Hitler's Skull. This week, hypotheticals. The Explosion crew talk through 8 hypothetical scenarios. Some are deep, some are rather simple, but each reveals a small portal into their minds to show the way they view or think about life. So this was Jono's first episode. Yeah, yes? Wasn't that the thing? Yeah, it was. It was the hypotheticals book.
Oh, yeah,
first
because
episode.
Hitler's... Back on the second episode, Dylan famously said, maybe we needed Hitler.
Hitler was necessary.
Yeah.
What? We forgot about this whole thing.
We still got to make up that shirt design.
Yeah.
I feel like we say, literally, whether it's on podcasts, on Twitch streams, in private, on messages, in private, on Slack, the amount of times people are like, that should be a shirt. We still only have 2 shirts.
We had 3.
We'll wait till the Taika Waititi movie comes out where he plays Hitler.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We'll put that shirt up.
I don't know about that.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, put up a picture on it. What do you want to watch? Available every fortnight Friday.
Yeah.
Second Friday. Biannual.
We haven't talked about
you
this
say?
movie, but
Biannual.
But we might. I don't know. That's what Americans say, I think. Episode 7, Fish Rental,
bi-weekly?
Taxation, all sorts of space-time talk. This week, what blows our minds? 5/6 of the Explosion crew plus NATO from 4 Yanks, 1 Aussie. Bring
wow.
bring ads. Fuck that word. Of times their minds were blown from the astronomically mind-bending through the entirely inconsequential. It's practically a guarantee there's something stupid that's blown our small minds at one point or another. I don't know whose host this was.
It
Thomas.
was Tom's.
Tom's, okay.
And that's where we rated each other's mind blowing.
God, that was a mistake.
Oh, that's right. And that just dragged it out to be ridiculous. Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry. I apologize for episode 7, everyone. I paused because in a thing, NATO
Johnson, you might know him from You Game Bro.
You might know him from You Game Bro or OK Beast.
A+ anime.
A+ anime. It's really good.
4 Yanks, 1 Aussie no longer exists. It's funny because you get like little time capsules.
Time capsules.
They're now known as the Gong Gold Boys.
No, isn't there a new podcast, Awkward Pause?
Yeah, but that's like their second podcast
Oh,
now,
okay.
right? Because Gone Gold's like more famous, I feel.
But isn't
like,
Awkward
at this
Pause the name of the Twitter handle?
No, it's Orc Pause as
Awk
well.
Pause.
Yeah. Look, I'm a true fan.
ORC,
Ash, and
Orc?
just it's like
I'm sorry,
AWK
guys.
It's AWK Pause. Orc Pause.
Awk Pause.
Yeah. But Gone
At
Gold.
Awk Pause. Give them a follow.
But they did They started Gone Gold when Four Yanks was still on, and then they started Orc Pause. As far as I'm concerned, it's just Gone Gold now.
Why do
Get
they have a
Orc Pause.
podcast about orcs?
AWK.
Gork.
Awk as in awkward. Like this conversation.
Google the internet for NATO and Orc Pause boys. Or Gone Gold boys. Episode 8, Zombie Jesus. This week, each special in homage to the original zombie, Jesus Christ. We discuss what we don't like about horror movies, literature, and general culture. We talk about what deeply affect us in real world horror. Links include Best of Creepypasta. That was a good episode, I feel. From memory, I feel like that was
It was a good episode.
a good episode. We
It
talked about
was the best
creepypasta
episode,
stuff.
actually.
You think it was a good? In my memory, it was a good episode.
I know it was a good episode.
Is that the one you didn't like?
No, it's one I hosted.
There was one you didn't like.
Fuck, what was that one?
We'll
What
get
was
to
that
it.
one? We'll get to it anyway. Episode 9, Jack hates spoilers and will fight you. Probably still true. Spoilers, the explosion crew is back. Oh, we've rebranded by this point, everyone. There's the timeline for you. Talking spoilers. Jack has very strong feelings on the subject and lets everyone know about it. The guys also discuss what they've had spoiled, what they've spoiled for others, and spoiler etiquette. Spoilers. It's not to be a cunt. This episode contains spoilers for Star Wars, Harry Potter, Sixth Sense, Game of Thrones, Infamous 2, and The Life of Tupac. Also contains an awful rendition of Hit 'Em Up. Yeah, I remember we opened a show of Hit 'Em Up. That's right.
He was dead the whole time.
Spoilers, in case you didn't know. So this episode was Jack, Nick, Tom, Ash, myself. Jono was out for this one because I can't imagine him being on an episode where we sang Hit 'Em Up. She fat. Fuck your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Get money. First to fuck your bitch in the clit you claim. Episode 10. Bad Neighbours vs. Good Neighbours. Is Bad Neighbours one of the best comedies of all time? Why is Neighbours one of the most popular shows in Australia? Anyway, we still don't know the answer to that question. This week on Pleasure Explosion, neither of those questions are answered. Most of the time, this show doesn't answer anything it sets up. But we do
that's
talk
true.
about Neighbours. We set up, why did we cancel this show today? I don't feel like we answered that well enough. Jack explains why his neighbour's dog is doing his head in. Jono tells a story about asking a neighbour for a lift in nothing but his jocks. Nick is scared to start an online war with his neighbour. And Ashley explains how he ruined his neighbour's fence. Tom gives a shout out to an ex-neighbour who listens to the show. Nick, what is this online war thing?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
My neighbour's still a cunt, but I don't remember anything about an online war.
I don't know what this... What did you do to your neighbour's fence, Ash?
Was using a ball to smack against it. Like
Oh,
a cork
yes.
ball.
You're smacking your neighbour's fence with your balls.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
You deviant.
Episode 11, Pet Peeves. What are your pet hates? What grinds your gears? Nick not answering my fucking questions on Pleasure Explosion.
Or any podcast.
Or any podcast. This week, we ripped that conversation in the butt, and the team talk over the things in life that just piss them off. Jono and Tom take people who butcher the English language to task. Fuck, guys.
I can see why they left.
I can see why they left. Now, it all makes sense. Find out what Dylan won't touch if it's been in your mouth. And Jack gives his
Penis.
best Coke sales. Look, I left dramatic pause. Episode 12, Desert Island Infidelity. This was a good one, actually, I feel. Jono leads part 2 of the hypothetical extravaganza starting in episode 6. Would you want to be smarter if it made everyone think you were dumber? Would you steal Hitler's wallet to ruin his day? I just remember this one being funny because the whole, if your wife or partner was stranded on an island for like 6 months to a year and they fucked the other guy and then came back, would you still be with them thing? And you were all like, no. They should have, they
It
thought they were
wasn't
going
that
to die.
simple of an answer.
It is. They thought they were going to die. They fucked someone else. Like, I think it's perfectly fine. I stand by
Is
it
it
being
though?
perfectly fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
I
They thought
don't
they were
know.
going to die.
No.
Oh, like their last dying breath, they still can't, like, you know, get a dick in the mouth. Or so. Look, is Stacey okay? Like, she's not chained up in the back room, like, between takes?
No.
Okay, just
Between takes of what?
the podcast.
When do we do tapes?
Episode 14, deep and meaningful. This week, Nick takes the crew on the journey to their past to reveal their happiest moments in their lives and whether that will be happy again. Whether they'll be that happy again. May include traces of peanuts being fed to elephants, weddings, doggos, and RTX.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah.
What's your happiest moment?
I still don't know.
Meeting Ashley in Brisbane.
Meeting Ash in Brisbane for the first time
No.
was my happiest moment.
No, we all know it's when you saw Suri last.
Oh, just the last time?
Or every time? Are they all equal?
The happiest time in my life is several moments. I don't think that's how. I don't have an answer to this question. I still don't.
But
have
you've got more choices than you did last time.
I feel like I have more choices. Yes, I feel like I have more happy moments since we last did this.
Was it acquiring your latest porg?
They're pretty good moments, to
Yeah.
be honest. They're pretty good moments.
Also, you
Consumerism
skipped
at its
one.
worst.
Fuck off.
You skipped episode 13. Jack takes a piss and drinks it.
Why?
You skipped it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Hold on, I'll read it now. Episode 13. This week, we unfortunately don't actually get drunk, but we do discuss some of our best/worst, delete as appropriate, drinking stories, memories, and games. Turns out some of us are terrible people and others are exemplary citizens. Who'd have guessed? I can't really remember much from this episode.
But
Was I on that one?
no.
I don't recall
But I
much.
would like to point out that I said on the episode I'd only been drunk like 3 times. That has gone up way since then.
The Explosion Network. We get you drunk.
Not we'll get you drunk, we cause you to drink.
Yeah, that too.
Episode 15, Life is a Reality Show. This week, Ashley asks if the Truman Show could exist in reality today. The Explosion Network proceed to discuss the reality TV show they like and hate and talk about the trials and tribulations of vlogging. Also, Jack got a haircut. He's not happy with it. So this is where Jack's hairdresser... What was her fucking name?
No, I don't know.
Helen?
Anyone recall?
Helen? I want to say Helen.
Some, I don't know. Well, we talked about vlogging because
Shaquisha.
at the time, me and Jack were vloggers,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Both
We got to
retired
talk
now.
about- Both retired. Much like this show, everything comes to an end eventually. Extrastode 01, the Aussies' perspective on Kind of Funny Live. Jack, Tom, and Jono record a special episode from the San Francisco hotel room. They never actually left. That's why there's only 3 of us left. They just stayed over there, recapping their experiences of Kind of Funny Live.
They're trying to get away from the Border Patrol.
Yeah, the whole time. They've recorded any episodes after that from a hotel room.
Secluded location. Undisclosed.
In the LA Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Episode 16, The Egg and World Peace. And now for something different. Using Andy Weir's short story The Egg as inspiration, the guys discuss world peace, politics, religion, and what it means to be a good person. So, as I said before, Andy Weir, fun episode.
Cool.
Episode 17, School's Out. This week, our school stories are on the agenda. Dylan talks about the creative ways he did his schoolwork, while Tom and Jack talk the creative ways they didn't do their schoolwork. Tom tells the story on how he was nearly kicked out of school, plus the guys share their favourite school memories. I remember that one. It was fun. Talked about how we would pick on the private school kids down the road, and we had like gang wars with them and stuff. I hope the school still carries on that tradition to this day. That'll make me happy.
I hope not.
I hope so. Episode 18, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. The Explosion crew discuss Australian culture, how the world sees Aussies, and what makes them uniquely awesome. Find out why Australia is the best place in the world, despite many terrified of visiting. Well, this episode, I feel like, only grows in context as the years and days pass with Donald Trump in America now. You know?
The world
Say
is
no
a
more.
terrible place, but Australia is still great.
It's still better than America. Yeah, that's the moral of the story. Episode 19, The Sorting Hat. In celebration of Harry Potter's 20-year anniversary, Tom sprung an impromptu sorting hat session on Ash, Dylan, Jack, Kieran, and Nick. This is Kieran's first episode. There you go.
Yay!
When that didn't quite last a full hour, the team discussed their history with the fantastic franchise, their favourite memories, and confirmed Jack is indeed a terrible person. Because Jack does not like
Harry Potter.
And that's why he's no longer part of this.
That was the rift.
Episode 20, Fear Factor. This week, Nick takes the Explosion crew down a road where they discover their deepest fears. Find out who has nerves of steel and who's the most fearful. Each host discusses their phobias, childhood fears, and the first time Nick met his wife, and recurring nightmares. I feel like that interlocking sentence Might have need reworking, but there you go.
There you go.
I think I didn't like that episode.
Is that the one you didn't like? The fear factor?
Yeah, because nobody was afraid of anything.
Death.
I can't remember what I said.
I think we were afraid of stuff.
I feel like I would have said I was afraid of something. Yeah, no, because my answer, whenever, like, out of my head now, you ask me, like, what I'm afraid of, it is dying without achieving anything. I don't know if that's my answer on the show, but it would have been
But you're
close.
not getting any achievements. You get trophies instead.
Fucking hell, Nick, I give you a serious answer. Episode 21, Friendship is Rare. This week, Dylan brings Cherie, a friend of the show, to the podcast to discuss friendships. The
Never heard of
Crew
it.
and Cherie, the Explosion Crew and Cherie talk about friendship, breakups, quote-unquote breakups, and compare social circles from our youth to the present day and friend groups.
I wasn't on that episode.
You was not on that episode. Do you
I
feel like
wasn't
you missed that?
invited.
No, you wasn't invited. You just couldn't show up at the time necessary.
Yeah, that was one of our first morning.
Honey. Yeah.
I was probably at work, that's why.
Yeah.
We recorded at like 10 a.m. in the morning because we were driving down to Hobart afterwards.
You were recording while driving.
No, we recorded it.
And then
I
drove.
Drove to Hobart, and then I edited the episode in Hobart on my laptop.
Seems like you could
everything-
have killed two birds with one stone there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have just made sure you fucking drive. What a waste of time that was. Episode 22, Bring on the Hate Mail. This week, the Explosion Crew is courting trouble by talking about the things they struggle to believe are still things in 2017. Everything from creative... How do you say that word?
Creationism.
Creationism?
Creationism.
Thank you,
Creationism.
Thank you. And religion to flat earthers and anti-vaxxers are discussed. Even the Kardashians make the list. I just remember that
Still
just
relevant.
being a big old bitch fest about... Yeah, I mean, it's all still relevant. Episode 23, The Day Everything Changed. This week presents a more intimate episode as the crew discuss one of the seminal moments of our generation, the 9/11 attacks on America, including our memories of the day's events, its effects upon us, and the entire world as we know it. I was not on this episode.
This was a good episode, I think.
I, from memory,
like a
listening to
very
it,
serious-
recall it being a very serious episode, yes.
Yeah, very rare.
Very rare. Well,
Nick
some
was
of them
not
are
on the
serious
episode, so that helped.
Yeah, like you wouldn't... How did 9/11 affect you, Nick? Do you mean the 11th of the night?
Yeah. Exactly.
It was more
Episode-
expensive than 7-Eleven.
Yeah, there you go. Episode 24, Fatherhood. The Explosion Crew exchange views on fatherhood and their relationship with their own dads before sharing hopes, fears, and expectations of parenthood. How's life since this episode, since you became a dad, Ash?
Weird.
I was not on this one. How sad.
Oh.
Episode 25, We Educated Few. A lean Explosion Crew. I feel like this is the smallest cast up to this point.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
episode 25. The lean Explosion Crew, network crew, come together to discuss their hairdressing schedules and habits. Why is there so much hair talk in this fucking podcast?
I don't know.
Oh, it's weird. There is a lot of it, yeah.
They
They also get sidetracked by talking about university experience and memories or something more serious like that too. So this was Ash, Jono, Tom. All of those.
All the educated.
all the
ones.
educated ones.
We have diplomas. No,
Yes,
degrees.
yes,
We have degrees.
Yeah. I've got a bag of chips, pretzels, and a fucking 6-pack, mate. You want to fucking go, cunt? Episode 26, our top 5 albums edition. This week, the crew gets musical. We all reveal our personal top 5 albums of all time, why we love them, and memories relate to them. And then there's a link to Nick's top 6 playlist and a link to my top 10 playlist, because of course there is. I remember I wanted to give my 5 I didn't get to mention. No one will let me, you fucking sons of
No,
bitches.
you got to mention your honourable mentions on this episode.
What, the one? Which one did you just cut me off?
The
next
movie one.
You
Yeah.
sons of
That was the one you were more upset with.
You fucking cunts. Episode 27, Nazis and Other Problems in 2017. You can also just re-upload this and call it Nazis and Other Problems in 2018. It's still relevant. This week on Pleasure Explosion, the Ragtag team of Ashley, Dylan, and Jack discuss a few current events. This was a good episode, actually.
Yeah.
From memory. This was a good episode. This is basically Jack. This spirals into It Is What It Is, really. If you think
Arguably.
about it. It
Could be,
kinda
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. Jack discusses a few current events. The crew talks about the same-sex marriage plebiscite and how ridiculous it is. Then discusses the recent events of Charlottesville and the re-emergence of Nazis before rounding out the show with the positive outcome H3H3 production lawsuit. It's 3 topics, all brought by Jack, all about political or like topical.
That was
things.
my episode.
Was it?
Yep.
Well, Jack stole your idea
Yeah.
and turned it into his own fucking podcast.
You're welcome, Jack.
You can fucking sue him his ass off.
It's fine. I'm not going to. Sounds expensive.
Well, if you get lower money, yeah, no, 8-Bit has a lot better lawyers than.
Yeah. We've got what's his name from Arrested Development? Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Tambor.
Nope,
No.
don't want him. Episode 28, the true ghost stories. This was a good one. Inspired by Adam Ellis's ghost stories, now getting turned into a movie. On Twitter, captivating the interwebs, Dylan this week asks, do the guys believe in ghosts? Find out why 3 of the explosion crew don't believe and why 3 of us do, including first-hand accounts of freaky experiences with ghostly figures. This was a good episode. Like that, we got stories on it. Got to find out Jack's actually a psychopath.
We're very complimentary of our own work. This one was a good one.
I also have schizophrenic problems. Or
I do not.
You do not. And Adam Ellis, legit, it's becoming a movie.
He annoys me
yeah.
now.
Episode 29, Casting Explosion Network. This week, the crew take on the task of casting each other in Explosion Network feature film. Did we blow the budget with the cream of the crop, A-list celebrities, or did we have to resort to washed-up reality stars tune in to find out? This one, behind the scenes, was quite funny, because when Jono listened to it, wasn't happy with any of the choices we made. There you go. Just blow that. There's some behind the scenes information for you.
Yeah, I think we could do a better job now. But
We could probably do a better job, yeah. Well, it's probably a lot easier with this.
yeah, and to be fair, Jack sprung that on us.
Yeah,
That
he
wasn't
did.
one we prepared for. So
I still stand by that. That is an episode that needed preparation.
Yeah.
Not a spring topic one. The Harry Potter thing works as a spring topic. Casting something does not. Episode 30, Hot Takes. Hot Takes, the Explosion Network brings their hottest takes to the table for discussion, covering a wide range of controversial opinions on patriotism, music, film war, political correctness, and of course, Star Wars prequels. Whose episode was this?
Jono's.
Oh, was too. Hot Takes was his. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't remember who fucking hosted this one at all. All I remember is this is where I first had to talk about how I don't hate the Star Wars prequels, and we hadn't started Old Round at this point, so. And Nick was the only other one like, I don't mind them either. They're fine.
I like
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah. Episode 31, Would You Bone Your Clone? This week, the Explosion crew comes together to discuss a number of hypotheticals around a simple theme, cloning. Mixed response and hilarity ensue. Would you, anyone change their answer? Would you bone your clone?
I don't remember
Nah.
what my answer was, but I'll stick by it, whatever it was.
Let's assume it was yes.
Cut it in now.
Episode 32, our top 5 movies. Join us this week, our longest episode yet. This crew becomes cinephiles. We all reveal our personal top 5 films of all time, why we love them, and the memories related to them. How long was this? 102 minutes?
Yeah.
Whew. Beat that easy now these days. We're pros.
Well,
Episode
we've
33.
almost beat it now.
Yeah, we'll beat it now. Episode 33, A Love According to the Explosion Network. This week, Ashley questions the rest of the crew about their current relationships, asking how they met their partners, when they said, I love you, their favourite thing about their significant other, and more. The crew also provides some advice for those in relationships and older single people out there. Look, everything about the description is right until the last sentence, and I disagree completely. There's no fucking advice given for single people.
Ask people out. That's what the advice was from memory off the top of my
I
head.
can get that by
Which, I
asking
mean,
Jeeves.
Technically works.
I mean, it doesn't not
works
work,
sometimes.
I guess. Episode 34. WWYD if you won the lottery. What would
What
you
do you want to watch?
I was no shit staring at it going, what does this mean? Because all I'm staring at is what do you want to watch? I was like, what? Is this some weird thing? This week, Jack poses a hypothetical to the crew. What would you do if you won the lottery? Find out who wants extravagant cars, who wants a quiet life on the farm, and who is getting himself a shiny new Han Solo and Carbonite. I was not on this episode. It was Tom, Nick, Jono, and Jack. I remember Jack wanted the Han Solo thing. Jono wanted, I can't remember. Nick wanted, what do you want, Nick? Pay your bills. Probably his answer. Nothing, just pay my bills.
No, I don't know. I think it was like become debt free and pay my
Yeah.
parents' debt off, or I don't know.
Tom's
Oh
was
no,
the
I wanted to buy a
Black
house in
Farm.
America and live there during football season.
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. There we go. Episode 35, separating art from artists. This
Another
episode still has
timeless.
what- This is also one of my favorites, I feel. Not just because I hosted it, but I feel like it's a...
I hate
a
it.
It's
This episode.
continually relevant. More relevant every
continually
single
relevant.
day.
Yeah, it's. I was ahead of the curve so fucking much.
'Cause what?
Can you ignore Woody Allen rape allegations? How about Mel Gibson's drunken rant or Chris Brown beating Rihanna? Do Eminem's sexist remarks upset you? How about structures built by slaves? Can you still appreciate them? Where is the line drawn when separating art from artists? Dylan, Ash, Jack, and Nick. I just started reading backwards. Discuss all of this and more on this week's episode of Pleasure Explosion.
Because this happened right after the Weinstein thing came out. I'm pretty sure it was the catalyst.
It was breaking that week. Yeah, it was like we hadn't got anywhere with it yet. It was just breaking news. Like they hadn't.
And comparatively now, Mel Gibson is tame.
Yeah, Mel Gibson's fine.
Well, let's not go that far, but
He's
he's tame on this list of things. Yeah, Chris Brown is still a piece of shit. Woody Allen's still a piece of shit. But the rest,
Eminem's okay.
Tame. Everyone else is tame compared to these days. Shout out to Chris Hardwick. Episode
Shout out.
Does he listen?
Hey?
Does he listen?
Yeah. Well, he will now. He won't be able to.
He's got nothing else to do now.
He's got nothing else to do than listen to fucking podcasts. You fuck you. Episode 36, Pack Explosion. Pack Explosion live from PAX Oz. Jono, Dylan, Ash, Lee, and Kieran break down the experiences of the 3-day event, including games, demos, panels, networking, and of course the fun and drunken shenanigans that go down when the Explosion crew parties hard. Who wrote this fucking description? Thanks to Audio Technica, Jono. Thanks to Audio Technica for the recording booth and production. Yeah, it's definitely Jono.
Thanks.
Party hard. So I'm like, sometimes I don't know if I've read these descriptions before. Yeah, that was a fun one. We've mentioned that one a bit. Episode 38, Deep and Meaningful Part 2. This week, the Explosion crew does a quick recap of Extra Life before Nick takes them on a journey to their past, revealing the darkest and lowest points, as well as how they overcame them. I was not on this one. I never got to talk about my lowest or happiest points. I don't... that was a very serious one, once again. So, Live from Extra Life is in here. Doesn't have a number.
That's episode 37.
It's... Oh, yeah, just skips it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
because
guess
there's no
you were
number.
so
So
tired from that you forgot to put the episode
that
number
makes
in.
sense. Episode 37, Live from Extra Life. In a drunken tide, crazy live episode of Pleasure Explosion, Tom asks everyone about their gaming histories. I feel like this is not something you would ever listen to. I don't know if it's fun to go back and watch the YouTube thing. The sound's a little bit off, but at the time,
Yeah. Turns out
it was fun.
You shouldn't hit the table.
Hitting the table kind of ruins that. Don't fucking hell. It's the last episode. Can you just... Episode 39, Getting to Know Ashley and Nick. Oh, here you go. This is one.
Here we go.
This is one. Ashley and Nick
Getting
have
to know
been deserted
you.
and forced to record the first ever 2-man Pleasure Explosion. Listen to hear them answer some, quote, getting to know you, unquote, questions you've always wondered about. Like, when was the last time they climbed a tree? I've always fucking wondered that. I still do to this day. What small things make their days better? Learn who was watching Nick during his honeymoon. If you want answers to those questions, go listen to episode...
Cut it in now.
39. Episode 40, Zombie Apocalypse Guide. What do you do when you look out your window and see a zombie standing in your backyard? Do not ask for everyone's zombie apocalypse plans. What would you do if a zombie attacked your home? What would be your following plan to survive the impending doom? Do not listen to this episode for actual helpful advice on impending zombie apocalypse. That was a fun one. Just a little bit
You
of
get your collection of records out and throw it at them.
throw them. The thumbnail is Shaun the Dead, yeah, so...
Yeah.
Episode 41, Desert Island Playlist. Jack poses the Desert Island hypothetical to the crew, picking just one TV series, one movie, one album, one video game, but no books for all of eternity. I still think that we should have done books because some of us actually fucking read.
I read.
I read. Do you read, Ash?
You need kindling.
Well, I mean, Kindle's probably not the best idea to take, like a physical book.
You need the paper to start fires, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah. That makes... Thank you for the pun.
You
Episode
probably
42...
start fire with a Kindle. You pierce the battery or something.
I don't know if that
I
works.
feel like well, don't they explode sometimes if the battery's...
I feel like this is on
affected?
Mythbusters.
It causes the heat for a fire.
That's true.
Because to start a fire, you need fuel, oxygen, and a spark.
Episode 42, The Secret Life of Us. The Explosion Crew shares stories of their previous lives and surprising former endeavors, including Tom's national success in karate, Dylan's early YouTube stardom, Jack's adventures as a TV host, and Jono's wrestling role-playing years as FIW Dual Crown Championship Fozzie McQueen. I don't know what FIW means.
It's like a wrestling promotion. Fake fantasy.
For your
Internet wrestling.
information.
You're all fucking nerds. Episode 42, to find out what FIW means. If you'd
Cut
like
it
to know.
in here.
Nope. Episode 43, 2007. It is what it is. Let's see where this fucking episode spiraled into. The Explosion Crew takes stock of 2017 month by month, reminiscing, reliving, and reviling key moments of personal, national, and international levels. What things made Tom's tears flow, Jono's heart melt, Ash's blood boil, Jack's coke sell, and most precisely, whose year wins on a scale of 1 to 10. Most of the above does not happen in this episode. I was not on this one. It was Ash, Jack, Jono, and Tom.
Yeah, it was good. Reviewing
I
the
don't
year.
remember that episode.
I started the meme of me bringing nothing but depressing news to the show.
That is true. I remember listening to it, and you was just like, "These
These are all the tragedies that happened this
these
year.
are all the tragedies that happened this month." Yes, he was very prepared for this episode being very tragic. These are all ones that were recorded over the preemptively Christmas period too. By the way,
Tragedy.
behind the scenes. Episode 44. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Nick takes the Explosion Crew on a journey down memory lane.
I enjoyed this episode.
Recounting favourite Christmas memories, traditions, favourite gifts, memorable moments, food, and media. If you want to hear us talk about Christmas, there's also last week.
Cut them both in here.
Now.
No.
I was not on this one because I hate Christmas and happiness.
Or does he?
Episode
Listen to last week's episode to find out.
Episode 45, Tales of Sequential Art. The crew discussed the history of comic books. Ashley and Dylan nerd out over their favourite stories, writers, and artists, with Tom and Nick occasionally getting a word in. That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Where me and Ash mostly talked.
Yeah.
Hey, it made me read that one that Tom talked about.
Kill or Be Killed.
Kill or be killed.
There you go.
Kill Bill. or
Comixology right now.
Nope. Yeah, Comixology. Sponsor. Episode 46. 40 personal questions. In lieu of a lost episode, Jack, Tom, and Ash get together to answer 40 deep and personal questions, finding out who wants to be taller, who would forgive a cheater, and who is even more grim than Ash. There you go. Even more
What
grim
would
than Ash.
cheater
So
do
is this the
deserve forgiveness?
the lost episode thing? Is the lost episode the Star Wars one Jack tried to do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I was like,
his
is it
audio
one I
mech
forgot that we missed?
screwed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in
Well,
peace.
I believe it. The audio didn't screw up. He just forgot that he didn't have enough space on his fucking computer.
No, I think the audio is like half the episode just compressed or something. I can't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what happens. The lessons be learnt. So 40 something episodes before someone fucked up an episode is pretty good. I feel though for
Yeah, we did pretty
a
good.
podcast. Props to everyone involved. Episode 47, Robotic Futures. Inspired by Black Mirror and CES 2018, Jono, Ash, and Tom share their most anticipated and feared future technological developments. Will nursing homes be filled with video games and VR setups? Yes. Will self-driving cars take all the fun out of police chases? I don't feel like that's a question that's necessary. Or is this irrelevant because robots will kill us all? Yes.
I think it is very relevant. How are you going to have car chases?
Well, you don't want police chases because if there's none, it means there's
But
no
then how are you going to
crimes.
have them in the movies? Then it's no fun anymore.
I've watched Minority Report.
Have you seen iRobot? They go into manual mode.
Excuse
What if
me,
there is no
Nick,
manual
actually,
mode?
Now that I'm looking at these numbers, they're right. They're perfectly fine because it goes from 47 to 49, 49, 50. So it's just that episode 49 is not titled 48. There's no duplicate. It's just numbered incorrect. Take that.
That is
Take
fake
that.
news.
No, it's correct news because I'm discovering it right
Wrong.
now live from my computer.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
wait until I go in and change the numbers.
Well, I feel like someone should have done this in January. But, you know, at this point, fuck it. Episode 49. Well, 48, actually. Will farts ever not be funny? Nick takes Ashley... Of course this was a good episode. Nick takes Ashley, Jack, and Jono on a journey. First by asking, will farts ever not be funny? The episode goes down unexpected paths from there, such as last meals, favourite cereals, ice cream, and foods that were denied in childhood. I don't recall this one at all.
Were you on it?
No,
I wasn't.
That doesn't.
Will
that
farts ever not be funny?
Yes.
Wrong.
when we've evolved to a place where we can't fart anymore because
okay.
we use those gases for natural.
I don't feel like no, because there's fart jokes in movies sometimes. I'm just like, no, it's
No, I'm
child-
not talking about fart jokes. I just farts in general in real life.
No, they're not always funny. I don't laugh
Yes,
every
they
time
are.
someone
They're
farts.
hilarious.
Okay, sorry.
But
There's a reason I didn't have you on that episode.
I feel like.
You're a killjoy.
Sorry. Episode. I did these wrong, but whatever. Episode 49. Do you dream of electronic lines? How many times... Electric lines, sorry. How many times have you had a dream that was so weird, so odd, so crazy, you just had to talk about it with your friends on a podcast? If you host a podcast like Dylan does this week, then at least once. Fair warning for this episode, there's lots of pee, poop, and puke talk. So this is the episode where I had the dream about recreating the line lich in the wardrobe opening and all this sort of stuff. I completely forgot about this until reading the title and the sub-description. Then I was like, fuck, that was a fun episode, actually.
Yeah.
Because I just opened it by telling you, and it was fun to...
I wasn't on that episode.
It was fun, that I recall. Do you remember that one, Ash?
Yes, I do.
Thank
That
you.
was the episode where Tom's friend, we found out Tom's friend like peed himself and puked on himself. and
Yes, there
shit
was a
himself.
lot of that.
Crazy.
Episode 50, Mail It to Yourself. What better way to celebrate Pleasure Explosion's golden episode than a ramble with half the cast down numerous avenues, including the monarchy, speed limits, copyright, zombie games, and honestly, I don't even remember at this point. Enjoy. That was Ash, Nick, and Tom.
Yeah.
Episode 50.
Milestone.
Monumental number, and 3 people turned up for this one on the monumental also. So that all makes sense.
On
Episode
brand.
50, there you go. On brand is right. Episode 51, Rip Penis. How did Dylan almost get into a... How did Dylan almost get into a fatal car accident? What medical experience has Ashley been keeping secret? What almost killed Tom when he was a teenager? All of these questions are answered in a conversation that also covers Clifford the big red dog, vaping, and how Dylan broke his penis. That's a good episode, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good one. Okay. If any of those spiked your interest and you haven't listened to it, that's a good episode. Episode 52, Near Fight at Black Panther. In his battle for cinema etiquette, Dylan nearly gets into a cinema fight at Black Panther, and Nick got locked out of his house. Swordfish was released in 2001, and this information is tangentially related as Dylan, Nick, and Ash discuss TVs, insurance, Queer Eye, and Black Panther all on a quest to find Earth 53.
I
feel
don't
like that
remember
was
the
only a
53
couple weeks ago.
reference.
I don't. I assume it's a joke from the episode. I don't know. So sometimes I write the description straight after recording, and there's in jokes in them that I forget the next day. You know,
Yeah.
but that's fine. Episode 53. We quit the Explosion Network.
What?
Jack and John are out. Find out what they've decided to leave their Explosion Network forever for dead. If this information is hurting you right now, you've not been paying attention for most of the year. Then we cover all the world's important topics, like people who don't understand Twitch, and answer the age-old question: do you have a freckle on your penis?
No.
Recall that.
Yes.
That was probably the last thing Jack posted ever in our Slack. I feel, or close to. Episode 54, Smashing Stuff. In a free-flowing discussion, Jono, Ash, and Kieran talk about Robin Williams movies, new Jumanji, how to replace pyrotechnics in WWE superstar entrances, and why it's so darn satisfying to smash stuff. Go ahead, smash something right now. Feels good, right? This was the episode when I was still at Kieran's house, and I was... What was I doing? I was like writing a post up for the year 2 stuff. And I was like, you go, Kieran. You do that one by yourself. You do that.
Yeah.
Episode 55. What if dragons is aliens? This is actually one of my favorite quotes from all of Pleasure Explosion. Because I read the title of the episode, and even when I listened to the episode and he said it, I'm like, I can't believe, of all people, to say something that doesn't make that much sense in the English language. It was fucking Tom. It's just weird. Great. What if dragons is aliens? Great question. How do we get there? Nobody knows. Are we even able to answer it? Listen to find out. What if dragons is aliens? Is another free-flowing conversation between Thomas, Nick, and Ashley from the Explosion Network. I don't recall what most of that episode was about. All I know is about
it was nonsense.
about 40-something minutes in, I think, or somewhere around there. At some point, Tom literally does say, quote, what if dragons is aliens? Which is the most non-English shit I've heard in a while. Episode 56, Theatre Types Totally Down to Fuck. Surprise! Nick still hates Easter. Hey, Nick, do you still hate Easter?
100%.
Just so we get the last word on that on Pleasure Explosion before it's all over. Let's goad him about it. Ashley tried to hide the fact that it was his birthday over the weekend, you piece of shit. I remember that.
Yeah.
We don't let that slide. Thomas went out for St. Patrick's Day and is a little hungover, but hopes you can't tell. I believe I could tell. That was also a weird episode where they just talked about how theatre people are, as the title says. Episode 57 at McDonald's, The Double-Edged Sword. Surprise! Nick still hates Easter. Kieran wasn't here last week, so has to get his barbs in, as well as managing a McDonald's. Thomas dreams of one day owning a car and never owning Bitcoin. Oh, this is the fucking fantastic one when Nick's Bitcoin, and then Tom gets so angry. It's amazing. I remember I listened to it, and I'm like, I need to cut all of this out, because I was like laying in bed listening to the episode, and it's just, you get to that point where Nick's like, I've got one, and then Tom's like, it's not a fucking Bitcoin. And
He was genuinely interested. Thought I actually bought a Bitcoin.
It's so great. Yes, that's a good episode, I feel. That was a good one. Episode 58, Stub Your Toe, Get a Divorce. Special guests, Jack and Jono return to the show this week to discuss, for a variety of reasons, Wesley Snipes, Max Landis, cunt, Mia Khalifa, and more. The three are mostly unrelated and centered around having a catch-up after a long weekend and the odd laugh. So this one was Ash, Tom, Jack, Jono.
Yeah.
And that is the last appearance of Jack and Jono on Pleasure Explosion.
Rip.
Episode 59, Centrelink, The Leaking
Wood chip.
Sieve. Some bold hot takes about WrestleMania. Ashley and Kieran versus Nick and Tom about whether it's a sport or an entertainment. Is UFC becoming more like WWE? Is UFC even good? Is WWE any good? Let the arguments begin. Kieran also digs himself a very deep hole, yes he does, while talking about people on Centrelink payments before deciding to not go any further, and thankfully he doesn't. Kieran nearly becomes, I feel, racist this episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
To a point, but saves himself.
Does he?
Does he is the question. You're 100% correct. Does he? Does he indeed? I think that's Tom's last episode. Let me just double check here. Yep. Sorry, episode 59, Centrelink, The Leaking Sieve, is the last appearance of Thomas Marshall on Pleasure Explosion.
Rip.
Episode 60, fifth year Neville Longbottom. What are the number one clubs in Shepparton? Kieran is here to tell you and break down which ones you need to visit and which ones you'll get stabbed in. Safety first, kids. Especially if you look like a 5th grade Neville Longbottom, brought to a magical island by Witchy Poo, who will help you. HR Puffin Stuff, of course. Quote, HR Puffin Stuff is a children's television series produced by Sid and Marty Croft in the United States. It was the first cross live-action life-size puppet program. Wikipedia. That was a good episode, I feel. That was a good. I had a great time. Great time giving Kieran shit about his clubbing. Episode 61, Ash vs. the Evil Dead cancelled. A couple months into the year, and with Westworld returning, finally, to our screens, it's time to discuss what programs Dylan, Nick, and Ash have been watching, and what shows they're excited to come back or have decided to start watching. Shout out to what do you want to watch?
It's a good show. You should listen to it. It's out tomorrow. If you're listening to this the day this comes out.
On the day of release, yeah. Episode 62, How to Tinder equal Get Capes. If you'd like to rock a Tinder profile like a pro, this is most definitely not the show for you. Kieran breaks down his Tinder profile bio pictures to Dylan and Ash, and they laugh. Dylan tries to tell Kieran and Ash that he could rock a cape like Lando Calrissian. I literally cannot say his last name.
Calrissian.
I literally cannot say. There's some words my mind can just not say at all.
It's a lot of words, actually.
I give up. It's at least 5.
YOLO.
Shut up. Lando. And they laugh. Ash continually tries to guess Dark Knight Rises as one of the top grossing movies of all time, and they laugh. Remember to stay cool, kids. Donald.
No, you cannot rock a cape.
I fucking can.
You
and I will.
not.
I will and I can. Episode 63, Donald Goat. Childish Gambino's This Is America music video this past week inspires Dylan to ask Ash and Nick, who are some artists they think are multi-talented. The guys also break down Free Comic Book Day from the weekend, the Starlight Foundation event for EB Games, and why an Australian comedian was banned on Facebook for being racist in New Zealand? ?
Also, Neil Patrick Harris. I don't think we brought him up.
Good point. Yeah, I feel like that's good. That's a good
Or Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. That one.
Why do we bring them up?
Multi-talented people. The episode. For
I'm
fuck's sake,
multi-talented.
Nick! Episode 64. What the fuck is Bevan Beats? What the fuck is Bevan Beats? Good question, listener, and we answer it this week. Dylan, Kieran, and Ash dive into the new Explosion Network fortnightly article, Bevan Beats, and tell you why you should care. The guys also discuss sending dick pics, and Dylan reminisces about video stores. Bevan Beats is still going. This is not something we have cancelled.
We have not retired that.
We've not retired that yet.
It'll be a special one next week.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out. Nick's doing next week.
Or yesterday.
No,
Was it next week? I don't know.
we're on the off week. We're on the off week.
Ah.
Yeah, it's currently mine is the rockin' playlist. Number 3.
Do what you want. Do what you want.
Yeah, that one. You like it?
I like that song. I
It's a
do.
good song. Episode 65 will never be royals. There's no escaping the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, so Ashley, Kieran, and Nick dive straight into it. Who wrote that description?
Probably me.
There's literally that is the most blank description. Like it doesn't even have the links for like anything else for some reason. Did you upload it?
It wouldn't have been me. I think it would have been Ash.
Ash uploaded it. Okay, so that's what went wrong. He forgot to do the secret stuff you need to do on the website to get the stuff to shop. Oh dear, Ash. Oh dear.
Oh, looks like we're losing another member.
Oh dear. Off you go. 60 something episodes. Oh dear. Episode 66, Order 66. Execute Order 66. Much fucking how many times can I write Order 66? Much nerdy goodness as Dylan, Ash, and Nick talk about Magic the Gathering, Star Wars Destiny, Dice Masters, LCGs, tabletop games, 40k, and more. I feel like that was a good episode. I know it was only a couple of weeks ago, but from memory,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, it was fun.
It was a good episode.
Thank you, Nick. He was on it, so I'd hope so. Episode 67. We are ending this show. That
What?
episode still holds up. The episode still holds up. Episode 67. We are ending this show. We are ending Strike, retiring Pleasure Explosion. Dylan and Ashley talk through their initial feelings about retiring the first Explosion Network show before Ash dives into the Man Expo in Brisbane, which he still refused, didn't tell me about. This past week, and Dylan works through his Anime Expo history. It's also comic time this week as Dylan explains how Walking Dead is going, along with Doomsday Clock and his obsessions with Steelbook follow. Episode 68, last week's Christmas in June, for the semi-final, the penultimate episode that takes place before the final one. Dylan, Ash, and Kieran decide to discuss a lot of Christmas in their wary E3 2018 week dizziness. Did you play the GBC Harry Potter games? They were great.
Yes, I did.
Did you play the one I talked about, the Philosopher's Stone?
Was it GBC? No, I think it was GBA game.
Oh, sorry,
I played.
GBC. Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance?
Game Boy Color.
I
Not
think I
Advance.
played a Game Boy Advance one.
Okay, maybe they're probably different to the ones I played. Anyway, not
You
the
could
line.
have put the.
They,
Did the color fit into the advance? I can't remember.
It did, yeah.
yeah, it did. So you could have played them on there.
But the color wouldn't fit in the SP. Is that?
No, I think it fit in the SP
it
too,
fit in
yeah.
Or
the
is it the
SP too.
DS? There was
It was the
definitely a
DS,
cutoff
'cause
point.
The DS,
DS
didn't-
with like
the
little
DS.
cards.
Yeah, the DS went to cards, so it didn't play. No, the original DS you could put them in the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what else you can put in your bottom?
Well, that's it.
was
That
all
is the anyone go around the table? Anything you'd like to say on as before we retire this show? It I don't know. You know, it is a semi monumental moment depending on how you want to look at it. It is the first show the Explosion Network has ever retired,
Yeah.
put away in a corner, said goodbye. So, any last thoughts, words for the final episode, Ash?
No, I mean, this is the show that kicked it all off. I think it's safe to say all 6 of us and Kieran are all in a better place than we were when we started the show. So, yeah.
And what
I'm
better
in the
way to
same
celebrate
place.
that
That
than
by
kill this?
retiring it, sending it away to wither away in a nursing home somewhere.
You know what this means? In 4 weeks we have to retire Platinum.
Please.
Going off trends.
Nope.
No.
We're breaking the trends, and that's the way to.
Wow,
to
that will be the
break
longest running show. And
No, Plat, I want to
in
get
5
to
weeks.
100, please. Thank you. Got any final words, Nick?
Bye.
Why would I expect
fool.
anything more at this point? Yeah, the final episode, Pleasure Explosion. I as I've said to use off the episode, but I'll say on the episode, I don't feel like I'm particularly going to miss doing it at this stage. We've got enough going on. I feel like we've got better shows, and I only say better as in they're more planned out, thought out, they're more structured, they're a bit more
Really, it started as an excuse to talk to each
to
other.
hang out. Yes.
Where I feel like we do that enough on other shows anyway.
Anyway, yeah, we catch up
feels
beforehand.
unnecessary.
We after. I mean, there was
Cut this into where you asked me previously and I didn't answer.
I mean, if you think about it, it literally, we started this show as a way to catch up or to keep connected with everyone else, right?
Let's face it, we were ripping off NATO. That's what.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. He
Yeah.
kept telling us that fucking RTX, he had a podcast. I said, I've never heard one of those.
Yeah.
We started
I
this
don't
as a way
remember that at all.
to keep talking, catch up, and have like something to do. But then we were fucking constantly talking in that Facebook Messenger group chat every single day anyway. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we overdid it. Because we're killing Pleasure Explosion, and none of us are in a
Retiring.
group chat with none of each other anymore. So we just kill everything. We don't.
We retire everything.
Really, we're not friends. We're just business partners.
Yeah. Thank you, Nick.
I mean, we play this up so well. I mean,
Cold
we're so
and
good
casual.
actors.
But yeah, thank you to anyone who's ever listened to Pleasure Explosion. Thank you to Ash, Nick, Tom, Jack, Jono, all being part of Pleasure Explosion. Thank you for Kieran. Of course, still a member of the Explosion Network. We keep like putting him into a subcategory because it's like he's there day
he was
one.
around day dot, but he wasn't on.
He's around Day Dot Explosion
too busy
Network. and
D&D and
he's
on
on the
Sunday.
he's on the website as a founding member of Explosion Network. He's not a founding member of
Pleasure
this
Explosion.
podcast. Yes, that's the
distinction.
The asterisk. The distinction. Yeah. That's why I keep putting him in a side thing. But yeah, thank you
But
for
we
Kieran,
do
of
that
course.
anyway. But
Yeah, we do anyway. Thank you, of course, to Kieran coming in, doing a lot more episodes
When he could,
after Jack John I left. I guess is when he started doing a lot more, popping in and all there. And then thank you to our guests that we ever had on the show,
Troy
Nato
Nato.
Johnson.
And NATO.
You can follow him on what's his fucking Twitter name?
I
now?
know NATO.
I know NATO.
NATO
I know NATO.
J18.
There you go. No, wonder where that goes these days.
Oh crap! We should update that link.
We're not going back to update fucking Twitter handles for anyone. That's not your fault. You can follow Sheree at CM_Henry on Twitter. You can follow all of us on Twitter. Ash, where can people follow you?
You find me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing. Still.
Where can the people follow you, Nick? Now, this is your last time. This is your last time that you do what you need to do, is all I'm saying. Where can the people follow you, Nick?
At 69, your place online.
You can follow
Solid.
Jack on Twitter at Cruzy_mate. You can follow Jono on Twitter at Jono. Is it just Jono?
It's Johnny himself.
Jono himself. Fuck, why did I forget that? Yeah, Rab himself. We all ripped off Viva La Bam. You can follow Tom on Twitter at TomTheBomb89. You can follow
Everywhere
Kieran
except Snapchat.
everywhere but Snapchat. You can follow
Well, I don't know if it's everywhere. It's everywhere that he set up a social profile.
that's true.
Like,
which
I,
is
I thought in the middle of the show, like, I wonder if he's got like a
he's the
Pornhub
worst
profile.
though, because he had fucking his Snapchat fucked up.
Yeah.
And he also had his Instagram hacked and taken over.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely fucking hopeless with social media, I feel. Or New Zealand's just got bad Wi-Fi where everyone hacks into
Well,
the
everyone in New
details.
Zealand has the same password. All blacks.
And you can follow Kieran on Twitter at...
That's
Your
a
Boy
rugby
Ringo.
reference, not a race.
Just to clarify, at your boy Ringo. You can follow me on Twitter at Viva La Deal. You can follow the Explosion Network, of course, on Twitter at Explosion Pod. Head on over to explosionnetwork.com for all the other great shows and content, and where you can find all episodes of this. If you feel like going back and listening to any of those fun ones, I feel like some of them hold up. Like,
Yeah, some of them
out.
should be
But
listenable.
most of them are.
That's like 69 hours of content.
Yeah, nice.
crazy.
I mean, it's probably like closer to 100 because there's
No, some of them are short.
it's probably like 80 maybe.
I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
we'll figure
make
it
a
out.
playlist on YouTube.
Well, we're not gonna
Spoilers,
do
we
that.
won't figure it out.
We won't figure it out. We won't do that. Yeah, so stay tuned, of course, to explosionnetwork.com, our Twitters, and all that sort of thing for upcoming news on what we'll have happening with the show we tease, whatever the fucking name of that ends up being called, and all our other great shows and content. Thank you for anyone who's ever listened to this show from day dot to day zero, anyone who's ever bothered to listen to us.
Isn't that the same?
Stop just correcting me when I'm trying to say thank you to people. Fuck. until well, I mean, if you listen to Platt, you'll hear from me a couple days from now, a Twitch or anything. I mean, we're not dead, but
not-
this
yeah.
podcast is in fact retired.
Retired.
Bye, Pleasure Explosion.
Now cut it to silence and put the HBO.
What's going on, guys?
So now we are just podcasting
I'm
with
your
the
host
shirtless
this
Nick
week,
and
Nicholas Episode 26 of Pleasure.
Never had a
Good
gift horse,
fucking
so we have
Hi,
a
Nick.
Our last ever single-digit
show where we
episode.
talk about stuff
podcast
for some
where we
reason.
talk shit.
What's going on, guys?
something
Welcome
for a
to
while.
episode whatever the number this is of
After we
Pleasure
hold it.
Explosion.
What's the one wicket today?
Ladies and gentlemen,
What's going on, guys? Welcome.
what is the show?
Nicholas, the curmudgeonly baker prior.
If your ears were eyes and you blinked, you'd probably miss something. It is Pleasure
number one
Explosion
ejaculation
metaphor podcast.
juice.
Lay back, my mind, my
And
money,
the
and
Kiwi
my money,
fact
and my
checker,
mind.
Thomas Merry Christmas, if you're
What's that got to do with you going for a shit? You live and learn, right?
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm John
How
O'Peck,
normally
and
works
I'm
Sunday.
joined by...
Fucking
So then I was
ruined it. Jesus. Dylan like
Spoiler
16.
retreat. Too late.
Welcome, one and all, to pilot
Celebrating
titled this podcast. Presumably it'll come under some banner of Pleasure Explosion because I own the URL and it's funny. Although I'm not sure if the actual show will be called that. I think we've managed to get a couple of associated social medias, but I don't really remember the details, so someone else can mention them at the end of the episode. We are a small collective of friends that met through the Kinda Funny community and recently spent a weekend together at RTX Sydney 2017. Big ups RTX. In an effort to hang out more regularly than once ever, we decided to record this podcast. It's still unclear what real form the podcast will take, if there'll be a particular topic, schedule, or whatever, hence titling this pilot episode number 1. But we're aiming to get a podcast out every week, so I guess we'll find out soon enough. Roughly, we're going to talk shit about something for a while. Thanks for sticking around for the ride. Here goes. I'm Thomas, and I have the honour of hosting the inaugural episode. With me today, in no particular order, if you want to say hello as I go around, guys, Jack.
Yeah.
Dylan.
That was way too professional. Hello.
Ashley.
Hey.
Or Ash, I guess.
Yeah,
Nick.
whatever.
Smash.
Nick, are you there?
Present.
And Jono.
It's your boy.
It's your boy.
So white.
Yeah, I know. We've got to
So
bring some culture,
You do.
I told...
The plan today... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying we've already covered our ethnicity quota, Jono, so you can cut that shit right out.
Oh, sorry, mate.
The plan today is basically to talk about how we met, maybe what we expected of one another beforehand, how those expectations actually played out, and maybe a general debrief on RTX Sydney 2017.
Sounds
Depending how long we go, we can make an episode on each of us from this chat. We might need to record more next week to cover everyone. We might manage 10 minutes, who knows. Anyway, I thought I'd start with a super brief background on my trip to Sydney and see how we go from there.
Sounds good.
I live and work in Wellington. Ventured over to Sydney for the weekend, basically by myself. Booked tickets the moment I found out some of the Kinda Funny crew were heading